Hello guys, welcome back to the AWS course. This is Tahir, your trainer, your instructor. In this session, we will be doing the practical part for the VPC, that is Virtual Private Cloud. So by default, when we create an AWS account for every region, AWS is going to create a default Virtual Private Cloud. There will be a default Internet Gateway, and there will be default public subnet in each availability zone of the region, and it will also have a default NACL, that is Network Access Control List, for allowing all the traffic, and it will also have a main route table that will be having indirect association of all the public subnets, and it will be redirected within the network, and also it will be redirected to the internet gateway. So now we are going to create a custom VPC. So I have logged into my account. I am user into the AWS management console, and I quickly search for the VPC service, and I clicked on open the VPC dashboard. In this dashboard, you can see here the resources by the region. So within this region, that is US East 1, that is North Virginia, I have all these resources. So from here, you can keep track of the resources that are in use. Okay. Now, so in the left hand side, you will be having the navigation options. Okay. Now we'll click on create VPC. Okay. Now here AWS provides you two ways. One is to create only the VPC, and other way is to create VPC and more individual in a single go. Okay. So here if I say VPC only, that means I will be creating only the VPC. Other components I will not be creating. I need to create it manually and separately. But in the VPC and more, if you see here, it is giving the name the VPC, and it is having 4 subnets, one in US East 1 and one in US East 1B. So in each availability zone, we will be having 2 subnets, one public and one private. Okay. Now it will be having the route tables. One is the private route table that will be routing to the internet gateway, and the other one is the private. One is the public, that is the main route table that will be routing to the internet gateway, and I will also be having other private route tables that will be routing within the, by default it will be routing within the VPC, and here endpoint has been created for S3, so it is routing for this endpoint. Okay, but for this practical part, I'm not going to choose the VPC anymore. I will choose VPC only. Okay, and I'm going to give name as my VPC. Okay, now after this, as I said earlier, I need to specify the CIDR block. Okay, now I need to specify IPv4 CIDR block. Here I can give manually give the CIDR block, or it is going to take from automated way. Okay, so I will be choosing IPv4 CIDR manual input, and I'm going to give the input 10.0.0.0/16. This is my CIDR one, and here in this VPC I can specify, okay, either only IPv4 or only IPv4, only IPv4 or IPv4 and IPv6. Okay, so I can specify like that, but in this practical, I'm not going to choosing any IPv6 CIDR block. And for tenancy, I'm going to choose the default one, and automatically it is taking the tag name as my VPC. So click on create VPC. So this is my VPC. Okay. So here in the resource map, it doesn't have any subnets. It has by default a root table. So when I click on this root table, no subnet association, one root to the local. Okay. So if I click here, the root table, I will be having root table for, I have here two root tables. One is for the default VPC that was created, and the one is for the VPC, the custom VPC that I created. So if I click on this root table, here I have the roots. It is only for the local. It specifies only for the local. And subnet association, there is no subnet association. Why? Because I did not create any subnet association. Okay. So before proceeding further and creating subnets, I'm going to create an internet gateway. Okay. As I said, by default, an internet gateway will be created that will be attached to the default VPC. Okay. Now I'm going to click on create internet gateway, give the name. So automatically in the tags, the name is included. Okay. And I don't need to give any other information. And I'm going to click on create internet gateway. Okay. Now this internet gateway is created. Okay. If I click on internet gateway here, I will be having two internet gateway. One is attached to the default VPC, the other one is detached. So I'm going to attach it to my VPC. Okay. So I have to select the internet gateway, my internet gateway, and click actions here on top right and click on attach to VPC. And from here, I need to select the VPC. It is going to display the custom VPCs. Okay. So I'm going to choose my VPC that I created and click and attach. So in this way, the internet gateway, my internet gateway that I created is attached to the VPC. So for both of them, they are attached. Now I'm going to create subnets. Okay. Already we are in the North Virginia. So we have 6 availability zones. So I have one subnet each in availability zone. So I'm going to create a subnet. And here I'm going to choose the VPC. I'm going to choose my custom VPC. So it is going to specify the CIDR block. So when I say a subnet is a subsection of the network, then every subnet, for them also I need to specify the CIDR block, and that CIDR block should be within this CIDR block specified for the VPC. Okay. So I'm going to give a name. I'm going to choose public 1A, and I'm going to create in 1A availability zone, and I'm going to create, I'm going to give the IP at CIDR notation 10.0.1.0/24. I'm going to give this. Okay. And automatically it is going to take the tag. Okay. Then I'll scroll down and I'm going to click on add new subnet. As many subnets we want, we can create those many subnets. So I'm going to say private. Okay. I created a public. I'm going to create a private subnet in the same availability zone. Private 1A. So I'm going to choose 1A availability zone. US is 1A. And for CIDR block, for the private subnet, I'll give 10.0.2.0/16. Okay. So I have here one public subnet which will be having CIDR block 10.0.2.0/16. 1.0 by 24, and here it should be 24, not 16. Okay, so it will be within the VPC CIDR block. I'm going to click on create subnet. So I have here private 1A and public 1A. Private 1A and public 1A. I'm going to use the root tables. So if I see this root table belongs to my VPC. The other one belongs to the default VPC. So I'm going to give the name. This is the main root table. So I'm going to give main RT root table. I'm going to give this name as a tag. Okay. And for this, I'm going to click on the root table ID to open it. And I'm going to say main, yes, owner, it is going to specify root ID, all those things. And here in the roots, by default, I will be having one rule that will be redirecting to the local, that is within the same VPC. So I'm going to click on edit rules. I'm going to click on edit rules and I'm going to add a rule. And here I'm going to choose 0.0.0 by 0. That is for all traffic, And here I'm going to select Internet Gateway. From here I'm going to select Internet Gateway. Okay. This is the Internet Gateway that I created. This is my custom Internet Gateway. Select it and click on Save Changes. Save Changes. Now I'll scroll down. I have two rules now. One rule where all the traffic is diverted to the Internet Gateway, and the destination, that is to the VPC CIDR block as a local. I need to click on Subnet Association. When I click on Subnet Association, I have explicit Subnet Association, which is 0. So explicitly, the subnets are not associated with this root table. Okay. So if we see subnets without explicit association, I have public and private. Okay. Now, I'm going to click on edit subnet association, and in this I'm going to select the subnet. Now if this is the main root table, so in this what I'm going to do is that I'm going to add public subnet. Because in this root table, I have directed the network traffic to the Internet Gateway. So I'm going to select public subnet and click on Save Association. So the subnet has been updated with the root table has been updated with subnet association. So explicit subnet association has one subnet added, that is the public 1A. Now I'm going to go to the root tables and I'm going to click on create a root table. I'm going to create a root table for my private subnet. So I'm going to say private RT. Okay, I'm giving the name private RT and I'm going to select the VPC. So here it is my VPC. I'm going to select my VPC and it is going to take the tag name private RT, the name given for the root table, and click on create root table. This root table is created. By default, it is going to add the rule. Destination will be 10.0.0.0/16. That is the CIDR range of the VPC. It is the local target. Okay. In this way, I have created the route table with the route directing to the VPC, that is within the VPC. And for subnet association, again, I do not have explicit subnet association, and subnet without explicit association, only one is left. Okay. So these are the subnets that are not associated with any route table. So I need to associate them. So I'm going to click on edit subnet association, and I'm going to choose private 1A. Why? Because I have created this private route table. So my route table is created. So now if I click on your VPC and select my VPC and scroll down under resource map, it is going to specify, okay, I have a VPC. In that VPC, I have public. In US East 1A region, I have public and private. One is public, one is private. So public is associated with main route table and private is associated with private route table. Okay. So if I scroll horizontally, this main route table is further redirecting it to the network, that is internet connection, that is my internet gateway. Okay. So here the subnets, I'm going to filter out the subnets for the VPC. So I have public and private. So this is my VPC ID for custom VPC that I created. Now the resources launched within these both subnets. So the public subnet will be having the public subnet, the resource launched within the public subnet, we will be having access to internet. Okay. Now when I click on subnet, here under available IPv4 addresses, I have 251. So by default, when I give the CIDR notation 10.0.1.0/24, that means it will be having 256 IP addresses. It can allocate 256 IP addresses. But AWS will be reserving 5 IP addresses for internal use. That is why only 251 IP addresses will be available. So in this subnet, we have only 251 IP address. If I launch an instance here, it is going to get the public IP address. So this one, the count will get reduced by 1. So these instance launch in public subnet will be having internet access. Okay. But if I have, if my instance is launched in private subnet, then it will not have a public IP address. It will not have a public IP address. Why? Because the private subnet, the route table for private subnet, okay, I mean to say I have created a private route table. In that I have associated the private subnet, okay, private 1A subnet, and this private 1A subnet, okay, for that I have added the rule that it is going to be directed only within the VPC. Okay. So in order the AWS resources launch within the private VPC to get access to internet, we need to use additional component called as NAT Gateway. Okay. So if I scroll down little bit, I have here NAT Gateway. When I click on NAT Gateway, and I need to create a NAT gateway. Okay. This NAT gateway has to be created within the public subnet. Okay, within the public subnet. So I'm going to create NAT Gateway and I'm going to give the name my NAT Gateway NGW, and I'm going to choose the public subnet of my custom VPC, and I'm going to give connectivity type public. That means I want this connection to be public. Now it should have a IP address, elastic IP address, but I know elastic IP address is allocated. So I'm going to click on allocate elastic IP address. Automatically a elastic IP address will be allocated for the NAT gateway. Now by default it is going to take add the tag with this name. So I'm going to create NAT gateway. So the NAT gateway is created. Now in order to let the resources created within the private subnet to get access to internet through NAT gateway, I need to modify the root tables, private root table. I need to modify the private root table. I'm going to open the private root table, and here in the roots, I'm going to edit the roots and I'm going to add the rule. I'm going to add the rule and I'm going to give all IP addresses, but through the target. The target will be NAT gateway. In that, I need to select the NAT gateway that I created and click Save Changes. In this way, the instances or the resources launched within the private subnet, these resources will get access to the internet through the NAT gateway created in public subnet. Okay. Now, if I scroll down here and if I click on network ACLs, it is nothing but an ACL. And here we have two network ACLs. One is using 6 subnet, this is for the default VPC. The other network ACL is 2 subnets. Okay, that is for the custom VPC that I created. I'm going to click select this network ACL, and here for inbound rules, it will be having like this: allow all traffic. Even for outbound rules, it will be having allow all traffic. Okay, this just ignore. So inbound and outbound both will be having the traffic that both will be having the rules that specifies allow the traffic, incoming traffic from anywhere and outgoing traffic to anywhere. Okay. So in this way, we have created the VPC, our custom VPC. So with this VPC, we can create, or we can say that we have created our own data center. Okay. Additionally, we can add more subnets in other availability zones. Okay. So that can be done. That can be done in our own convenience based on our requirement. Okay. So we need to clean up. So to clean up, I'm going to delete the subnets. I'm going to delete both the subnets, select both the subnets and click on actions and click on delete subnet. Subnets cannot be deleted. 1 out of 2 subnet can be deleted. To delete the remaining 1 subnet, first make the following changes. This will be deleted, this will not be deleted. Why? Because this has network interface. That is, public subnet cannot be deleted. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to first delete the route table, private route table. It is having association. I cannot delete. Okay. So I cannot delete internet gateway. I will simply delete my VPC. I'm going to delete VPC. Unable to delete all. Why? Because the gateways are there. So what I'll do is that I'm going to first go in the reverse order. I'm going to delete this NAT gateway. I'm going to delete this NAT gateway. The NAT gateway is deleted. Now I'm going to delete the subnets. The subnets will get deleted. So this public subnet is not able to get deleted. Okay. So I'll delete one subnet. Okay. Then I'm going to change the rule in the here. I'm going to edit the rule and I'm going to remove this rule and remove the subnet association as well. And from the root tables, I'm going to delete the private root table. Root table. Okay. Then I'm going to delete detach the internet gateway from the VPC. And then I'm going to delete the VPC, delete the internet gateway. And then I'm going to delete the VPC. I'll try to delete the subnet, public subnet. It is now available for deleting. I'll just delete it. I'm going to delete the VPC. So all the resources are gone. Even the root table associated with the VPC is deleted, and network access, I'm going to delete this. See, automatically it got deleted. So with the VPC, those got deleted. So I do not have additional VPCs. So that's it for the practical session. See you again in the next topic. Session for the next topic. Have a nice day.